To begin, please ensure that all necessary components are present. This includes one independence package, 3 sections of 2-watt cable totaling 75 feet, 1 red Anderson connection, 1 gray Anderson connection, and 1 priority start. Please also ensure you have the other necessary hardware, including drop bolts, self-tapping screws, 4 plastic snap-in grommets, zip ties for running cable, 8 stainless steel rubber back clamps, and a section of solder. To create the vehicle installation kit, we'll connect 2 of the 25-foot sections of the 2-watt cable to the Anderson connectors. Place the cables in one at a time with the lip facing up to create a secure connection. The facial components of the IP Law Enforcement series include the data port, a momentary switch in case of a primary OEM battery failure. In this case, the button would be depressed to give an officer 60 seconds to restart the vehicle, our serial label to be used in registration and warranty, our breaker, which is rated at 200 amps, this should be switched off in any long-term storage situation, and our battery indicator. Lastly, we have our auxiliary load panel cable and our vehicle installation kit cable, which will run into the front of the vehicle. The Utility series has similar features to the Law Enforcement series, but includes one 12-volt plug, 2 20-amp AC ports, along with breakers, and an on-off switch. The first socket needed during installation is the 5/16 inch to remove the connections from the OEM battery terminals. A 7/16 inch socket will be used to remove the lid of the independence package. And finally, a 1/2 inch socket will be used to anchor the independence package into the trunk of the vehicle. The final half of the IP installation will be done using a standard cordless drill. We'll also be using a step-up driver and a grommet, which will be used in running the cables down the frame of the vehicle. The grommet will protect the metal insert once you penetrate the trunk. We'll also be using a 3/8 inch nut driver, which will also be used to secure the cables to the frame of the vehicle. A rubberized cable lead and its provided hardware will also be used in securing the cables. A 1/4 inch drill bit will be used to bore holes in the trunk of the vehicle, and the corresponding bolt will be used to secure the independence package to the vehicle body. The priority start consists of a ground wire, a main power wire, a main terminal which you need to ensure is tightened to the specified torque, as well as a grounding lead. This will connect to the battery terminal and the ground wire. Lastly, we have a rubber band which will secure the priority start to the OEM battery. To remove the OEM battery, use the 5/16 inch socket, removing the negative first and then the positive. The second step is to attach the priority start using the rubber band around the battery as well as the priority start. Please ensure any load that you want disabled in a low voltage event that is running off of the OEM battery is connected to both the top terminal of the priority start as well as the positive lead from the independence package. The priority start positive cable needs to be connected to the battery positive terminal. The priority start ground needs to be grounded with the provided hardware on the battery negative terminal. Here's a closer look at installation of the ground piece for the priority start. Please ensure that once the cable is returned to the battery terminal, that it is tightened properly to prevent arcing. If you do not tighten this properly, the priority start could melt. To anchor the independence package into the trunk, bore a hole with the 1/4 inch drill bit in your handheld drill. Next, push the drop bolt through with 2 washers. To energize the auxiliary load, run a wire from the load panel with an Anderson connection on one end. Once that is connected and secured, and the alternator positive that is used to energize the load panel is terminated, you can connect the Anderson connector to the corresponding red Anderson connector coming from the Independence package. To drill a hole above the shown passenger rear wheel well, use a step-up bit and your handheld driver. Please ensure the hole does not get larger than your 1-inch grommet for the cable to run through. To secure the cables along the frame of the vehicle, use rubber stainless steel cable runs with self-tapping screws and our nut driver to secure the cables into place. Any area that you cannot get the cable lead, there are also zip ties to secure in hard-to-reach places. So let's cross-check. You should now have 2 wires, the positive and negative coming from the Independence package. All of the components previously connected to the OEM battery positive terminal, along with the positive wire from the Independence package, should now be connected to the top of the priority start. Please note, all of these components will be timed out when encountering a low voltage environment. Next, the priority start positive will connect to the OEM battery positive terminal to complete the circuit. The other side will have the Independence package negative lead coming from the rear of the vehicle, and the priority start ground wire connected to the OEM battery negative terminal. Again, please ensure the components of the priority start primary terminal are properly secured. Failure to do so could melt the priority start. The final step to completing installation of the Independence package is to connect the 2 gray Anderson connections, one from the Independence package and one from the existing car connection we added to the battery. Then connect the 2 red Anderson connections, one from the IP and one from the auxiliary load panel. Once those 2 connections are established, you can now engage the breaker by flipping the switch on. Now your Independence package is functional.